Hello, it's been a while since I did an archery video, so I thought I'd do an archery video. Got a lovely, typically English day out there. Look at that, beautiful rain and nastiness. Now some people might have seen a video from a while ago when I said I was going to make some arrows. Well, I actually made the arrows, but I forgot in the first couple of steps to actually video it, record the process, so I ended up not bothering. But all told, mistakes aside, I made 10 arrows, I think, and over the time I've been shooting them, 4 or 5 of them have broken and been repaired, 2 or 3 of them have completely broken and are unrepairable. They're not as strong as I'd have hoped. They're pretty accurate, but let's take a look at them. This is all of them, all of the remaining alive ones laid out on the table. The knocks, this is my second attempt at knocking arrows. Come on, focus. Let's get my hand underneath there, see if I can get it to focus a bit better. Yeah, you can see it's not too bad, but it's already just starting to chip and crack. This is one of the first batch. This is not so good at all. This one clips in quite nicely, but a lot of these just broke. You can see there's a weak point on this side. Feathers aren't wound particularly neatly, but these arrows have been shot probably 60-70 times each now. The feathers aren't too bad. And I did make one with a handmade broadhead on it. That's just a piece of steel that I sharpened up, but I've not even shot that yet. But all told, the whole process took me about probably 6 hours, something like that, to make pretty much a dozen arrows. Like I say, they've broken. Some of them are broken beyond repair. Some of them are just too short now to be repaired. Turn them into crossbow bolts. But we'll have a shoot with these and you can see what they're like. The tripod I was using had to be sacrificed for my wife's target shooting, to put her scope on. We didn't have enough money to buy the scope and the tripod for it all at the same time, so I basically chopped the tripod up. So what we're using at the minute is a set of nesting tables and a cobbled together tripod that's made from a few bits of wood, but we can get it pretty much on target. I'll just shoot. That was a particularly bad round. I don't normally do that bad at all. Maybe I've got camera shyness. But I'll whip them out and we'll try again. And he's knocked the can over, so he's got an even smaller target to hit now. Close, but not close enough. We're going to try and get the rabbit in the vitals, first shot. And that's an hour till I get my lunch. And another hour. When I shoot at that, I would take a guess and say it would probably take about an hour out in the wild to get yourself in a position where you could actually take a shot at a rabbit at this sort of range, 10-15 yards. So if I miss, that would probably be another hour before I found myself another viable target. So potentially, that was 2 shots at the rabbit. That's 2 hours without food. I'll pull him out. We'll have another go. We'll put 3 on the rabbit this time. Add 2 on the can. Gotcha. Obviously not a particularly good shot. Would have just disabled it. Shot the rabbit in the buttocks. Right, now we're on to the can. Miss. we'll have these arrows out, and then get a brutal example of the accuracy of a compound bow compared to a normal one. As you can see, that was a pretty nasty shot for that rabbit. I don't think it'd be walking away from that in a hurry. That really loud bang is the arrow going straight through the target and hitting the board behind. I aimed at the bottom of the can that time, and it hit about the middle. So if I aim just at the bottom behind the front foot on the rabbit, we should get right in the vitals. Should. So drawing these arrows out in the middle. See about these ones, not quite so easy, are they? They're coming out alright. So we'll take you in the kitchen and we'll have a little bit of a chat about my thoughts on the differences between the bows and you know, what people like to refer to as a survival situation. But first I'm going to tidy all this mess up in case the missus comes home and falls over them. Right then, differences. Real world examples are quite simple. We get these laid out the same way. This, although a very pretty and well formed stick, is now but a stick and a piece of string. Obviously, the piece of string is designed specific for what we use it for these days. The wood, as you can see, if it'll focus, is laminated. This is carbon fibre on the outside, beech I think in the middle. But if you can shoot a bow like this relatively accurately, you will get yourself a meal eventually. Oh, focus, damn you, stupid machine. You will get yourself a meal eventually. And you can fashion a bow literally out of sticks and string. Some string obviously is going to stretch the first few times you use it and you'll have to restring it afterwards or not. So it's a pretty good choice if you were stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and it's a pretty good skill to learn shooting a bow and shooting it accurately. As you can see, I'm not too good at shooting a bow like that accurately. This is modern design. You can see just from looking at it how complicated it is. There is a cable and a string. It's aluminium cast or machined, probably machined by the looks of it, or cast and then cleaned up. It's got adjustments here, an adjustment there, some more adjustments here. It's got a very, very complicated sight on it with several different adjustments here, there and everywhere. Coupled to that, I don't like to because it hurts, but I can shoot this with my fingers. Shooting that with your fingers is really not easy at all. I've tried it a few times. It's incredibly painful and it really does throw the accuracy of the bow off. So if this snaps, I can go out and make myself a bunch of sticks and make a, you know, like a bunch of stick bow. They've probably got a proper name for them, but I haven't got a clue what it is. If this breaks in any way, it's useless. It's throwaway. We're talking in a survival situation here, you know, somewhere where you're stuck outside and you need to hunt for your food. So, given the choice between a lovely, super accurate compound bow that I know I would not miss a rabbit at 25 yards with, or a piece of wood and some string, I'll take the piece of wood and the string any day in a survival situation, because it's just much more basic. It's much harder to shoot. I cannot get over how difficult this is to shoot, even compared to a standard competition recurve. I've got one of them in there. I'll just go and get it. I'll be back in a second. Here's a standard competition recurve. This one is my son's. It's only a 12-pound bow. It's got a stabiliser on the front of it, because he seems to shoot much better with a stabiliser on the front of it. But even then, seriously, it really isn't much more than a piece of wood and some string. So once again, this in a survival situation along with this is just a so much more valid choice. This is just, if it breaks, you're dead. You can't make a string for it. It's made of the same materials, but as you can see, there's all sorts of funny little connectors and stuff on here. I'm not entirely sure what they do. You need a bow press to compress it enough to actually be able to get the string on and off. When that needs a new string, which it probably does soon, this one's pretty frayed, I'll be putting it in a shop and getting it done. When this needs a new string, or the con needs a new string, I'll be making it myself. So, this is my 2p worth. To be honest with you, if I was stuck outside and I had to survive, I'm just trying to pick it up on the shelf here. No, that's not going to work. If I was stuck outside and I had to survive, I would most definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, take a plain old-fashioned recurve bow. Quite simply because it is so simple. There are obviously, in a survival situation, if you have the chance to organise before, or maybe you have the ability to choose what kit you're going to take with you, there are some other options. Here in the UK, the rules regarding firearms and such are really quite strict. But that kind of thing, you are allowed to shoot and hunt with. But obviously in a survival situation, does the law really matter? Now for the anal amongst us, both of these weapons, I don't really like to call them weapons, but they're both clear. You can see, if I can get the angle right, see right through there. Now, this isn't quite so easy to do, but I'm holding this back under spring pressure. This is a much longer barrel, so there you go. You can see the light through there as well. Neither of these weapons are loaded, and neither of them are cocked. Now, on a pistol, you've really got to be standing right next to whatever you're going to shoot with a pistol on. It's got such low power. I really wouldn't want to shoot much more than sparrows or rats with it. But the rifle's a different story altogether. I've used these same pellets for an awful long time. They're not bad. See if I can get the camera to focus on it. It's supposed to have a super macro here. There you go. They're not bad. What does tend to happen when you fire them is this ring, this skirt around the outside of the hollow point, basically just shears off. But these are both relatively good choices. Focused. These are both relatively good choices. The air rifle is a BSA Lightning with a Hawk. I think it's 4x40. Can't really tell. Yeah, 4x40 Hawk. I've had this air rifle since I was about 19, 20, something silly like that now, good 15, 20 years. I've just recently refinished the stock, sanded all the varnish off, and used some homemade wax to give it a protective finish. You can't really see it, but it's a bit of a matte finish. It's only had one application of wax so far. But again, when you use the comparison, I'd prefer, I think, in some sort of a survival situation, a sharp stick to catch fish or spears. If a spear breaks, you can make another one. If a spring or a mechanical part in one of these goes, you can't make another one unless you are tooled and you've got files and all the other bits and pieces that you need. So again, given the choice out of all of the different tools I've got in this house that I could use to procure meat source with while I was out and about, I think I'd still pick probably a recurve bow and go with being hungry a lot more, rather than rely on a machine that can break. I mean, it'd be senseless to take a compound bow and a recurve bow. I do have a crossbow, and again, I mean, the crossbow is relatively simple, but the trigger mechanism isn't easy to replace if it's lost. When you're talking about a recurve bow, there's your trigger, right there. So, you know, a recurve bow and being able to shoot a recurve bow at least semi-accurately is important above all else if you really wanted to survive in the outside world. I mean, I don't even want to go out there today. It's cold, wet. Doesn't look particularly windy out the front, but the trees out the back are blowing around like a hoolie. Oh yeah, one more thing. At the shooting club on Sunday, last Sunday, I got to have a go over a few rifles for the first time. I mean, the only rifles I've really shot were when I was a child, and this particular air rifle, this one on the table now, I got to go over an old percussion rifle that shot ginormous bullets, looked like probably 50 caliber bullets. Had a couple of shots with that, missed the target completely. I had a shot with a Henry lever action 22 LR, which was it's actually quite nice to shoot. It just felt like such a heavy gun for such light ammunition. It was a bit strange. The other one I had to go, I haven't got a clue what it is, but it was a 357 short lever action rifle. And we were shooting at 50 yards. I missed most of the shots. I missed all of the shots with the percussion rifle, the percussion cap rifle, the black powder rifle. But this is the result of the 2.2. There's your holes for your 2.2. This is at 50 yards, remember. I'd never shot this rifle before in my life. This wasn't prone, this was standing. And these three on this side are 3 of 6 from the 357. So I'm actually, one, I look like it, but at 50 yards I'm quite chuffed. I shoot the air rifle at 25 yards. Always get within the 8 ring, most of them within the 9. So just a little Brucey bonus on the end of the video there. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you again soon. Bye.